the gym and train legs. Today's gonna be, a heavy, but not like a crazy heavy leg day today, focusing on more volume, but still lifting reasonably heavy. It's off season, it's time to be strong, it's time to grow. But yeah, off bodybuilding, I'm really enjoying the World Cup. Really good, entertaining matches. My three picks at the start of the tournament were France, Spain and Argentina. I still think three of those teams will win the tournament. But I'm really impressed also with Brazil and Portugal. They look really strong. Cristiano Ronaldo's playing like he's got a point to prove. And big shout out as well to the African nations. I'm from Nigeria. I really didn't make it in to this World Cup, but big shout out to Cameroon, Ghana, Senegal, Morocco and Tunisia. The African nations are starting to get some wins on the board. Big win for Ghana yesterday against South Korea. And big win for Morocco against Belgium. So I know Senegal won as well. So hopefully a couple of the African teams, if not all the African teams, that'd be great. But at least a couple of the African teams make it through to the knockout stages of the World Cup. Really entertaining games, loads of goals, and I'm really enjoying the tournament so far. Long may it continue. So yeah, back onto bodybuilding, old school versus new school. Well, I can only speak for myself. I, grew up watching bodybuilders like Franco Columbu, Arnold, Lee Haney, Ronnie Coleman, obviously, Jay Cutler, Dorian Yates, Kevin Levrone, and all of these guys were amazing bodybuilders, some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. And, they all trained old school because they were at the time where, during the 70s, 80s and 90s, where some of these new school training methodologies were not yet, known. So yeah, but they all trained old school, free weights, heavy training, but also very technically sound. The quality of the reps were pretty much perfect for most of these guys. And, that translated into their physiques. They all had massive muscular physiques, very good condition and loads of quality thick muscle. And I think that was a contribution of their work ethic, their genetics, and also the old school training methods, which incorporated loads of free weights, loads of old school exercises like squats, deadlifts, bench press, loads of dumbbell work, and yeah, that sort of translated into, those amazing monstrous physiques which they produced. Nowadays there's a bit more new school training methodologies, which I do think there is a space for. But speaking for myself, I'm a guy, like most of you may or may not know, I love deadlifting, I love squatting, I love benching. I've started out doing them and I'm still doing them now. And I believe that those exercises, they sort of make up the nucleus of my training programming, because I believe that squats is the number one leg builder. I believe that deadlifts is the number one posterior chain builder. And I think that bench, do build a chest, even though some people believe they won't. I believe they do. If you execute these exercises properly, with the right form, with the right range of motion and safely, they will yield results. While you can mitigate the risk of these exercises, it's all about technique, mastering the technique, and also not focusing on the weight so much. Master the technique and the weight will follow, the poundages will follow. And that's how I've always performed these exercises, and now I'm doing reasonably heavy on all of them. So yeah, when it comes to training programming, I do think there's space for both old school and new school. I think that if you're going to squat and if you're going to deadlift and if you're going to bench, you must focus on technique, become technically sound at them. And then once you become technically sound, focus on going up incrementally. Or, if you're making massive gains and your technique is still good, then sort of listen to your body and go up in poundages, but not crazy poundages. Bodybuilding is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long haul game, and you want to make sure you're doing these exercises without getting injured. But there is a a common belief that these exercises, you know, they'll get you injured and they're too dangerous. You know, I've been squatting and deadlifting heavy and benching heavy for a long time. They never injured me, and I believe that's because I've always made sure that I was technically good at them, you know. So speaking for myself and my programming, I prioritize those 3 exercises. And obviously squats and deadlifts, they do take, you know, they put a lot of strain on the lower back, obviously, because they're loading the lower back. So say, for example, when I'm doing a back day or a pull day, I tend to focus on using using machines that don't put so much load on my lower back. So I used to do a lot of barbell rows, dumbbell rows and T-bar rows, but I used to find doing those exercises in addition with the squats and the deadlifts, it put a lot of strain on my lower back during the week on my training volume. So I sort of took those exercises out, barbell rows, T-bar rows, dumbbell rows, and now I focus more on machines or chest supported exercises that sort of take the load off my lower back. So that's how I've sort of strategically programmed my training in order to prioritize the exercises like squats, deadlifts and bench, which I think that will yield more results for my physique, and doing, you know, exercises that will sort of save my lower back but still yield me good results. Obviously you need to be training in a gym that's really well equipped, so, you know, that has really good machines to make sure that, you know, you have that sort of exercise selection and those sort of options. But, you know, when I was starting out bodybuilding, I sort of did the meat and potatoes of things. I did a lot of the old school exercises, and I found that put a lot of muscle on my physique and gave me a lot of strength. But, you know, as you get on, you sort of learn how to strategically combine old school and new school training methods into your sort of perfect training split. You know, that comes with experience, or, you know, with good coaching and guidance, you know. So yeah, I do think there is a space for both training philosophies. I do see some you know, bodybuilders starting out now, or people that are just training starting out now, and they sort of skip the old school part and they're going straight onto these new school exercises, which I find some of them are just, you know, too overly elaborate, and, you know, just, you know, that's not going to put any real mass onto your frame. And the aim of bodybuilding is to become, you know, put on mass. So, you know, I do think that's a mistake. I think some of those people should sort of scale it back, and as long as there's no injuries or anything holding you back, go to the old school exercises, do the deadlifts, do the bench, do the squats, become technically sound at them, put them into your programming, and 100% they will yield great results. Those other exercises, you know, these new school exercises that are a bit more overly elaborate, I think there are room for them because you're focusing on maybe a specific muscle or a smaller muscle group which needs to come up, which I think is good, you know. And you learn certain things like time under tension and tempos of the reps, which is also good. But it's all about finding the correct combination of old school training exercises and philosophy and new school training exercises and philosophy, and fusing them together, and that will yield, you know, fantastic results. So yeah, I hope you guys took something out of this talk, and you know, there's loads of videos where I'm doing old school exercises and I'm doing new school exercises that I've put up on my YouTube, and I'm gonna, you know, continue to put up. So yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this. I'm going to talk again probably sometime next week on episode 3, and there's gonna be another training video coming out for you guys later on in the week. Yeah, so have a blessed Tuesday, guys. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. All that good stuff. Like, subscribe, share the channel, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out. Peace and love.